Today you're going to learn how to create something called a constructor and a destructor inside object-oriented PHP programming. So in the last episode, we had this example where we created a class called person. And we're just going to go ahead and continue with this example here since it's a pretty good example to follow when it comes to creating, constructors and destructors. So we talked about creating these different properties up here. And we talked about just declaring the property without actually assigning a value to them. Now it is possible, just to mention it, because I didn't mention that in the previous episode, it is possible to assign a value to one of these properties. I could, for example, say 28 here, and that would actually work. If I were to reference to this property here, it will actually have the value as 28. However, if I were to do that, it kind of breaks the functionality of why we would have to create different objects with different people in it. Because not all the people that I create from this specific class are going to be 28 years old. So it doesn't really make sense to do it that way. You could, if you wanted to have a placeholder. So if I want to say undefined or something as a string or something, I can do that if I want to have that as a default thing in case we don't actually set a value. But it is generally just a thing that we do, where we just declare them and then we assign values to them when we actually instantiate the class and create objects. So when it comes to creating a constructor and a destructor, what these are a method that gets run right before we create an object and right after we are done creating an object. So the constructor is run at the beginning and the destructor is run at the end. Now do bear in mind we don't always need to run a destructor, but in a lot of cases you will be using constructors when it comes to creating objects. So let's go ahead and create a constructor here. So I'm going to create a public function. And it is important to mention that the name we're going to give this function here, or this method, has to be what I'm about to write here. Otherwise, it's not going to get seen as a constructor. Do bear in mind, there are built-in methods inside object-oriented PHP, just like there are in procedural PHP. So there are just some examples like with constructors and destructors, where you have to call it that specific name for them to work like they should. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write underscore, there's two of them, and I'm going to call this one construct. And I'm just going to close off the parentheses and semicolon. So whatever we write inside this method here will get run at the beginning when we do actually create the class. And the reason we want to create this constructor is because now, right before we create an object, we can actually assign the values inside these properties we have up here. This is a concept that I know a lot of people back many years ago when I was studying at the university had a really hard time understanding why they should create properties without assigning values to them. And that's because later on, when we actually create objects based off the class, then we assign the values to that specific object. So in here, what we're going to do is I'm first of all going to reference to this class. Then I'm going to point to a property, and this one is going to be name. And I'm going to assign it a value which is going to be equal to $name. And just like with the last episode down here, $name is not a reference to this one up here. It's a reference to later when we do actually create an object based off this class after we instantiated it. We can actually fill in parameters and fill in the properties. So this $name is a reference to the parameter up here, okay? That's a little hard for some people to understand. That's why I'm putting so much emphasis on it. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to copy paste, and we're going to do this until we fill out all the properties, or at least the ones we need to fill out when we create a new object. And I'm just going to go and change the names here. So we're going to say iColor, age, then of course change the names of the properties over here, so iColor and age, and there we go. Then we need to pass them up here inside the parameter, otherwise this is not going to work. So we're just going to pass in the iColor and we're going to pass in the age. So what happens now? Well, if I were to go inside my index file and I still have the stuff from the last episode, we're just going to go and delete most of it. Let's go and delete all the way up to when we create an object based off this class. You may remember I said in the last episode, you could choose whether or not to include the parentheses when you don't have a constructor. Now that we do have a constructor, we do need to have parentheses here, otherwise it's going to give you an error because you have to pass in the data for these constructor properties that we're setting. So what I need to do here is I need to set a name. So I can say this one is called Daniel. I can set a eye color, which is blue. And I can set an age, which is 28. So now that we created this object, it now has all the properties filled in when we create the object, which is kind of nice. So now we can actually start using the methods properly inside our class here. So what I can do now is I could go ahead and say I want to reference to this object I just created, and I want to reference to name and simply print that out. So I could actually go and echo this specific thing. And I do still have the stuff from the previous episode inside the browser, just don't look at what I have here. So when I refresh, you can see we have Daniel. Okay, so going inside our index file here again, what I could also do is I can go and echo out our next piece of data, just to prove that it is in fact all the different properties that we're setting in here. So I could say eye color. And then I can go and refresh, and as you can see, we get blue. Now, if I were to call on this method that I do have in here from the last episode called setName, we can still change the name that we have inside here. So what I can do is I can go ahead and say, well, we want to run a person1, which is over here. And I want to run a method called setName, parentheses, and set a new name. So I can call this one John. So now if we were to spit out this exact same thing here again, which I have up here called name, you can see that now we're going to have Daniel, blue, and oh, we do actually have a uncaught reference error. What did I do wrong? Oh, I used a punctuation here. I'm getting used to C#. So we're in PHP now. We're not using a punctuation to reference to a method. So if we were to go ahead and reference the proper way using the arrow, then now if I were to go inside the browser, refresh, you can now see we get John. So now forever after this code, the name property is going to be set equal to John. That's important to note. So this is how we can, use a constructor in order to create the different properties when we actually create an object based off this class here. So let's talk about destructors. Now destructors are very similar to the constructor we have up here. It's done the same way. We create a public function called destruct. And you might be asking, what do we need to use this specific thing for? That's not a semicolon, that's a curly bracket. What we use a destructor for is simply to clean up our class a little bit. We can use it to close off connections to databases. We can do a couple of different things inside a destructor. Essentially, if there's something you want to get rid of to clean up the class a little bit or clean up the object once you create it, you can do that using a destructor. But really, like I said, the thing that the destructor actually does is that it goes ahead and runs this function when the object gets closed off. And now you might be asking, well, when exactly does the destructor run inside the code here? Is it when I instantiate a new class, or is it after I actually call on this? Or what needs to happen here for this to actually get run? Well, if we were to go back inside the index page, the constructor and the destructor both get run when I instantiate the class up here. It's not something that gets run after you're done using the object down here, so do keep that in mind. Now the last thing I want to show you just before we end this episode off is something I should probably also have shown in the last episode. When I want to use any of these properties inside the class I'm inside of right now. So let's say I go down inside my class down here, and I'm just going to go and create a new method. I'm just going to delete the destructor here, and I'm going to go and create a method called getName. Now, what I want to do here is I just simply want to get and return the name that we have as a property up here. And you might be asking, well, how are we going to reference to that? Because right now it is set to variable name inside my class. Do I just copy this and paste it in here and then simply return it? Because that might be how some people might want to do it. But do remember, we're talking about properties. We're not talking about variables. Meaning that if I want to return this property from inside this class here, I do need to reference to this class and this property here. So this is how we actually do it. Whenever we reference to a property inside the class, this is how we reference to the properties, okay? So doing this, we can actually use the getName method. Let's just go ahead and delete all these. And really, in a lot of cases, just to mention it, we talked about scopes. People like to put these as private, which means that we can't reference to them inside our index file now because they're set to private. The only place we can use these properties is inside the class. So in a lot of cases, people like to instead set them to private and then use a method in order to return the values, because this method here is public, but the properties are private. So we can actually return the properties using a method, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and return this property here. Go inside our index page, and I'm going to reference to person1, and I'm going to reference to a method called getName. And because I just returned, we need to actually echo this line of code, so we do need to run an echo. And if I were to go inside, you can actually see we get Daniel, because I am now returning or actually running the method that actually grabs the property and gives it to us. Now that I set everything to private inside the properties, let's actually go ahead and run the name property just to show you. It will actually give me an error because it is private. We can't access it. So just to show you a habit that people like to do, like I said, people like to put these as private because this is maybe sensitive data in some cases. Right now, it doesn't really matter that much. We're just talking about a name, eye color, and an age. But had it been personal info that have to be kept safe, some people like to keep these as private. And then we like to simply reference to them inside methods if we do actually need to reference to them anywhere inside our class. So this is all I wanted to say when it comes to constructors and destructors. I do hope you understood what I said in this episode. I feel like I was talking a lot about random stuff, but I do hope that you can sort of understand what I meant when I said the different things. You will be using constructors quite a lot when you use objects and classes. So if you didn't quite catch what I was saying about constructors, I do recommend that you watch this episode one more time just to sort of get the idea behind it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.